We are live. What's going on, everybody? Tuesday, February 26th. Had a little bit of a monster slate yesterday. A little bit different today. Just a 3-gamer. Coming off of yesterday's 11-gamer. Shout out to Ship My Money. Won himself a ticket to the DK final. So, congrats to him. Lofty, how'd you end up last night? Anything interesting?
Not a ticket, but a very good night. Yeah, how about you?
I had a good night as well. Any positive night is a good night, and I had a solidly positive night, so I'll take it. Yeah, it was fun. Could have used a little bit more out of Bledsoe, but I'm not exactly in the minority with that one.
No, he was bad.
Yeah, he was very bad. He was very, very bad. Just realized I didn't update the lines in the ticker. And delete those since there's only 3. You normally show the 3 highest favorites, but everybody's a favorite. Alrighty, NBA strategies.
I was getting set up real quick, so I was
basically just talking to myself right there anyway.
Yeah. But yeah, congrats to Adam. That's pretty awesome. It's funny because he was already going as a proxy.
Yeah.
So now he doesn't have to worry about that. Yeah. I'll tell you what.
I feel bad for him not having that lineup in a different tournament, but other than that.
Say that again?
He only had it in that qualifier. He didn't have it in anything else.
Right. Well, I mean, but at the same time, if you're playing, let's say, okay, so I don't look at it that way because you're purposely stretching yourself thin. Sure. So one of those you're perfect. God, hold on. You're purposely stretching yourself thin, right? So, yes. So you're saying I'll play 150 in this one, 150 in this one, and 150 in this one. You know, maybe more, maybe less. So that's literally the concept of it. So the whole I didn't play it in any other lineups. Yeah, but you didn't intend to, right? You know what I mean?
Oh no, I know exactly what you're saying. Yeah, I totally agree with you.
Yeah. So, I mean, it's and I guess so. If you played it in one, you might have ended up winning something else. And right. You played it in this one, you might have ended up winning something else. So that's
he broke 400, man. I think he would have won everything last night. Anything he would have entered.
Right. Yeah, probably. Yeah, probably.
Yeah. So if it has the ability to win like 100K or something, that's the only time that it hurts.
For sure. By the way, man, Ben Simmons crushed me in the second half, dude. I had some really good stuff going, and Ben Simmons in the second, he finishes the first half with a 12-11 double-double. You're like, okay, man, he's cruising right now.
Yeah.
Finished the game at 14 and 12.
Ridiculous. What's the final of that game? 1 point?
Yeah, it was a 111, 110. He disappeared in the second half. It was crazy. He
was gonzo. Weird. Super weird. I expected a lot more out of Butler, too.
Yeah, I didn't. But he's just not he's not doing much right now.
5 of 16 from the field, 2 3 attempts. So 5 of 14 from inside the arc, -6 plus minus. Thank God for the bench of Mike Scott, Jonathan Simmons, Boban, and TJ McConnell.
Yeah, John Simmons missed 2. Simmons missed 2 free throws at the end, but
it was 1 for 6 from the field.
Yeah. Tobias Harris is the guy in Philly right now, man. He's just been great. Like really, really good. I mean, he really has.
29 and 10 last night.
What's that?
29 and 10 last night.
Yeah. He's ridiculously efficient. He's unselfish. And when you need him to put points up, when you need him to score, he does. It's really quite impressive.
So I assume Butler is just settling for bad shit. 1 of 2 from the free throw line, 16 attempts. He's not only 2 threes, whereas you get Tobias Harris, 2 for 8 from 3, so 6 more 3-point attempts than Butler, 8 free throw attempts. Butler's taking the type of shots that Jimmy Butler tends to take, which is going to be highly volatile.
Yep. By the way, the new format or the new DraftKings layout where it's like enter with crowns.
Yeah,
Interesting.
yeah. Lots
FanDuel,
saw a lot of people
you
entering with crowns accidentally yesterday, complaining.
oh, I can imagine that, yeah.
Yeah, money should be the default in that option.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, FanDuel's been doing this for a while, like,
Yep.
since the beginning, except they have that little option down there to the left where if you click it, you know that you're clicking it.
Yep, that's how it should be.
It's kinda strange.
Super weird. Super weird.
They
Hey,
should
look,
fix that.
for DraftKings, at least it's better than having to buy
Oh my god, that was the
$150
worst.
$1 tickets to max out the mini max or something.
So stupid, right?
One
I
by
mean,
one.
not even just that, even if you just wanna buy one, it's like you have to go into the shop, you have to go into the ticket, you have to agree to buying it 7 times before you buy it, a and then you still have to, like, go and buy it in the
Over and
lobby.
over and over and over again too, if you want to do it.
Right. Right, no,
Like if you're trying to
I know what
bulk
you're
enter
saying.
too.
I know what you're saying, and that sounds miserable, but I'm saying even if you just wanna do it once,
Oh yeah,
it's
that's a pain in
annoying.
the ass. Yeah, multiply that by 150 if you're trying to like max enter off of a bunch of tickets, and you're going to be there for like 2 hours just trying to buy the individual tickets. Now you don't have to, so at least that's a
If you're
step in
trying
the
to
right
max
direction.
enter if you're trying to max enter on some crowns, though, I mean, you might wanna look elsewhere.
Yeah, for sure. I don't disagree there. If you're trying to get 20 max tickets, that's fine. 150 is a
Yeah,
process. Depends how many crowns you have, I guess.
I guess so. Yeah.
All right, NBA Strategy is the promo code. 50% off your first month with us. Any package you choose whatsoever, including stuff with Fantasy Cruncher, you can get 50% off. So one big word, NBA Strategy. We've got 3 games. Late start today, 7:30. So deeper dive will be on from 5:30 to 6:30. And live before lock with Chris and Eddie will be on from 6:30 to 7:30. We were close last night, man. 1,979 people for me and Eddie.
Oof,
Just
oof.
missed it. Tell your
Wonderful.
friends, people. We need 21 more. 21 more. We break that 2,000 mark. Eddie predicted that we would do it before the All-Star break. We're close.
We'll get there.
We're knocking on the door. We also have a golf show today. Ben and Tim will be breaking down. I think it's the Honda Open, Honda Classic, Honda something.
Well, there is a Honda Classic. I don't know which one it's going to be.
It is the
because
Honda Classic.
If
So
there is a Honda yeah, I know that much.
Ben and Tim will be breaking down the Honda Classic at 1:30 today. So tune in for that. Ben will have an article up on our site once this show is over, and I can actually post it. We ready to get started?
Let's get it going, bro.
Got a barn burner out of the gate. The New York Knicks hosting the Orlando Magic. Ugh, I don't even want to talk about this nonsense. 105 implied total for the Knicks, 111.5 for the Magic. No DeAndre Jordan again. Still no Frank Ntilikina. Raise your hand if you knew that Henry Ellenson was on the Knicks now.
I did, but only because I was trying to figure out how Noah Vonleh and Cornette could not get minutes last time.
Yeah, I was a little surprised that we saw. Look, I have Hazonia and Ellenson getting minutes again because I can only give so many minutes to some of this trash, but we'll have to talk through it again.
Yeah, look,
this is a rough spot for the Knicks too. Magic defense is sneaky good.
They are.
I don't think anybody really knows that. Like, that just generically follows the NBA because they're the Magic and they've been bad since Dwight Howard was there.
You know who else is sneaky good?
No one on the Knicks, but I think you're going to say Mitchell Robinson.
Dude, I love this guy. He's good, man. I'm telling you. He's a second-round draft pick, and he keeps getting it done. Like, first of all, he wouldn't have gotten 30 minutes if Vonleh didn't get into some early foul trouble. But what are you doing, Fizdale? Like, this guy's clearly you're not playing for a damn thing. Why is he not Like, why are you not giving him 30 minutes anyway? It's so crazy to me. It makes no sense.
I
But
was listening. You'll appreciate this. I was listening to one of the Ringer NBA podcasts this morning, and someone was talking about how they had mentioned in the Ringer Slack that they think Mitchell Robinson is better set up for this day and age's NBA than DeAndre Ayton. And I was like, you know what? I don't hate the idea of like him being a rim running, rim protecting role man compared to Ayton, who has very little defensive ability and is just like an offensive guy. It's interesting to
right.
see how like those two things can fit now in the league. I mean, obviously Ayton much better pedigree, but you're
Yeah, it's
probably
definitely
really
a
happy to end up
bold
with Mitchell Robinson.
it's a bold call for sure.
Yeah,
Because 88% of his shots have come from within 3 feet of the basket.
but that's always going to be
88
the case, probably.
with Robinson?
Yeah.
Yeah, of course. But I'd say from a versatility standpoint, totally different player. Um,
Oh
better
yeah,
set
they're like polar opposites.
By the way, I tweeted last night. I was watching the Dallas Clippers game. It was a pretty good game.
I thought you were
That
going to talk about Ben Simmons jacking threes.
No, which actually it actually wasn't a bad attempt.
No,
But by 2021, I said Doncic will be a top 5 player, right? And I get people going, "Oh, wow, really going out on a limb there. Wow, such a hot." First of all, it wasn't trying to be a hot take, it was a statement. But I love how hyperbolic people get with players that they like. And let me explain what I'm talking about here. It's
yeah.
only 3 games, so I don't mind going off just for a second. It s To say that, what I said, would mean that he would need to be better than one of Giannis, Harden, Westbrook, George, LeBron, Durant, Curry, Jokic, Embiid, Towns. There's more, and I can't think of them right now. In a few years, in a
Did you
couple of
name
years,
Jokic before Embiid?
I'm I also named like 7 players before Stephen Curry. So don't get ahead of yourself, fella.
I didn't hear that.
Yeah, I'm just naming guys. For So to act like, oh, it's a foregone conclusion. I really like Luka Doncic. This is why I said that. But to act like it's a foregone conclusion that there's no way he won't be by 2021 is ridiculous. Like
Right.
there are still so many good players. So to act like that's, oh man, of course, what are you, real bold. Like, do you not understand
It
what
is it is a
being
really bold
said?
take, actually. Like in a way.
Right. Right, and I'm okay with that. But you had some people go on the complete opposite end, like, "Huh, idiot. Of course he will be." You don't even know who's in the league. One guy was arguing that Doncic is better than Giannis right now, but won't be better than Kevin Durant and LeBron in 2021.
I see you can't go on Twitter, man. There's too many people have the
Oh,
ability to
man.
speak.
It's crazy. Oh, I forgot Anthony Davis too.
Yeah. Like, what if he Derrick Roses himself? Like
Yeah,
that
right.
shit just happens.
Crazy.
He better than
Crazy.
Giannis now. That's a take right there. Look, I think that the Mavs are very, very happy with Luka Doncic, and they love him. I think they would trade him straight up for Giannis in a split second.
Okay, hold on. Say that again.
I think the Mavs love Luka Doncic, as they should. He's fantastic. I think they would trade him straight up for Giannis in a split second.
Um, I don't know. I don't know if they would.
Really?
I don't know if they would. No.
I don't think that they
That
would even
that
hesitate.
Oh, I think there'd be like I think there'd be certain hesitation. Sure.
Craziness. If the Bucks called Mark Cuban up and were like, "Yeah, we will give you Giannis because we want Luka," and you'd be like, "Anything else?" No, straight done.
I think it would be the right move to make, but I don't think it would just be a snap decision at all.
I'd sell my wife for Giannis.
Well, that's a given.
No,
That's not a hot take.
it's
Look,
not as good as Luka.
yeah, but if Giannis could shoot even like 30% from 3, he'd be the best player in the league.
He's got some time. He's what, 24?
I'm not saying he won't. I'm saying right now he isn't.
How is he? How
But
old is he? Yep, 24. Young
but what
24.
you've been seeing in Doncic right now, I do wonder if like the thing about Giannis is that he has those intangibles in terms of physical attributes, right?
Well,
Like
he has a defensive ceiling that Luka can never reach.
sure. And most players cannot run the length of the court in 2 strides.
No, no.
So,
They need to
yeah,
do more with
I mean,
Giannis being like the Bucks logo, like just running like a large animal.
absolutely. Yeah, elk-like strides.
Yeah,
So you
they should be the Milwaukee Elks.
I I think there would be hesitation there though, just because
You imagine Giannis and Porzingis together? Woo!
yeah,
That's some length.
yeah.
Put 3 shooters around those clowns. Oh my god.
But either way, saying that on Twitter, like when I said it, like, yeah, this is a pretty extreme take. It's not crazy, but if he was top 5 by 2021, that means that he'd have to be better than a number of those guys that I just mentioned. So to act like it's a tame take and that, oh, of course he'll be, dummy. You know, no one will be talking about James Harden or Giannis Antetokounmpo in a couple weeks or a couple years. That's crazy.
Absolutely.
Anyway,
All right, let's talk Knicks.
where are you at on Mitchell Robinson though?
I'm
'Cause
right
his
back.
price
I
tag
mean,
is
I'm
up.
not in as much as I was in 2 nights ago or 3
Well,
nights ago,
sure.
whenever they played. But 6,500 on FanDuel, no issue there. He's at 15% ownership. 5,400 on DK. He is at 22% ownership. I would expect to be above those 2 numbers. But the one you want to pay attention to most, he's $19 on Yahoo. Just
Mhm.
don't even hesitate. He should be starting every single one of your lineups.
Yep.
He's the clear best play
Yeah.
on Yahoo today,
Where they just
which means that he'll probably play 16 minutes.
yeah, where they routinely forget to, actually change price points. It's crazy.
Yeah,
Makes no sense. Well, New York's the tough team though right now.
I
It's
hate this
really been
shit, man.
difficult.
I hate it.
It's yeah, it's difficult to try and figure anything out with these guys. I mean, they beat by the way, the San Antonio Spurs, absolute dog shit right now. I don't know how much worse it can get for them. They are in free fall. They're an absolute free fall right now.
It's rough. It's rough.
Yeah, it really is. But they just lost to the Nets. They lost by 16. Uh, they lost to the Knicks. Knicks first win in 12 weeks at home. And the starting lineup for the Knicks was Dennis Smith Jr., Damian Dotson, Lance Thomas, Noah or Kevin Knox, Noah Vonleh. And then Noah Vonleh got in some foul trouble, so he didn't play much in the second half. Mitchell Robinson also looked spectacular in the second half, but Alonzo Trier comes in for Kevin Knox, and he comes in about a minute and 36 into the into the second half. Was there any reason for that other than Fizdale just being like, "Yo, Kevin, you suck"? Like what what was the reason for that? Because
I got nothing.
Knox didn't have a bad first half.
No, for Knox. Oh my god, I was watching a little bit of that game. I'll probably misremember this play a little bit, but I know the outcome. He got the ball like the near corner and went baseline. And it looked like a great move and tried to do a reverse layup and it was just ugly. Like he came up a dribble too short and just kind of tossed it up in the air. I had a shot like that in intramurals college, and I just tossed it
It was
up,
that
but it
bad?
went. It didn't go for him.
Oh,
I stepped in shit. He's like slipped in it basically.
yeah. But like what's going on with Alonzo Trier playing
He's like my favorite play on FanDuel today. Is that a weird thing to say?
I mean, he played 19 straight minutes in the second half. I don't know what to make of it though.
I just like
Like
using him as a punt for 3,700.
yeah, sure. And then Knox came back in and closed it out, even though they were up by a pretty wide margin.
He's
It's
so
really
bad.
strange. It's
So
really
bad.
it's real and then let's talk about this too. Dennis Smith Jr. plays 30 minutes, has a huge game. Manuel Mudiay plays 19 minutes. I don't I have no idea what to make of that. Like this team right now it's pure misery.
I said it Saturday or Friday or whenever. When did they play? Saturday?
They
Friday?
play
Friday?
they played on Sunday.
Yeah, that'll work too. Sunday. Fuck me, man. Uh, I said like, getting the New York Knicks right is the key to winning the tournament. The problem is it could be like any of 12 dudes. If you told me Henry Ellenson played 26 minutes tonight and put up 30 fantasy points at 3K, I'd be like, of course he did. It's the Knicks.
Right. Yeah.
I don't know what to do with these dudes anymore. They go from Lance Thomas not playing at all to playing 30 minutes in the starting lineup. How do you go from a like consistent DMP CDs to we're going to start you today and play you 30 minutes?
Yeah,
I don't know how to do that. I don't know how to plan for that. I don't know what to do with like most of the Knicks.
Unfortunately, it's all too common.
Yeah.
You know, it's not fun. It makes things really difficult to analyze, and you just like honestly, this is probably one of the better slates to be like having a date night, you know, but that's not what we do. So I might say that it's not like we're actually going to do that. Uh, the Knicks just make it very difficult. I don't even know how much long we need to speak on it. I'll say this like when it comes to these guys, I think Mitchell Robinson will get at least 24 minutes. Okay, I think he should get at least 24 minutes. Noah Vonleh lost some playing time in the first half because of foul trouble. He had the second and third personal foul. So Robinson got an extra 3 minutes of run. What looks like an extra 3 minutes of run in the at the end of the first half. And then Vonleh caught his fourth early in the third, and Robinson played not 9.5 minutes to close out the third, and then 4.5 to start the fourth. And then Vonleh came back in, didn't catch any fouls, and only came in for about 1 minute and 47 seconds before Mitchell Robinson came back in and played almost 6 minutes to close out the game. The reason I mention that is because seeing what happened with Vonleh there, coming back in, not getting in any foul trouble, and Fizdale's like, screw it. I was hoping he'd get his fifth and sixth foul so I could put Robinson back in. I'm just going to do it anyway. Robinson comes back in, has 8 and 4 to Robinson sealed the deal at the end of that game. He just went off, hauled in every rebound available, put up a monster point total. I think the thing I'm saying is I don't know if he would have played less than 24 minutes. It's possible if Vonleh wasn't in early foul trouble. But after seeing what he's been doing, I just don't see why Fizdale wouldn't give him at least 24, 25 minutes. Like if you're not even letting him split the center minutes unless foul trouble hits somebody like Vonleh, it's crazy to me.
It makes no sense whatsoever. I gave him 28 today. I gave Noah Vonleh 20. Am I off base?
Well, I want to say yes, only because like I have Vonleh at 22, but I don't.
Did you give Mitchell Robinson 26?
The foul trouble was obviously a concern.
Yeah. Robinson picked up 2 quick, right?
What's that?
Robinson picked up 2 really early, right?
Yeah, but hold on. That was a little bit different because number one,
I just mean in general. Like I'm trying to make sure that I'm remembering the game correctly.
Yes, he had 2 in the first quarter, but that means a whole lot less when you're playing off the bench, right? And Vonleh caught his third with like 3 minutes left in the first half, and then he caught his fourth 2.5 minutes into the third quarter.
Robinson ended up being a pleasant surprise for me because I knew that I had like 85% or something stupid. I immediately saw in Slack that he got 2 fouls, and I was like, oh, cool. He's just not going to see the court. And then it was like, oh, no, he's going to come back in and be fine. Vonleh will barely play because of foul trouble. And Luke Cornett and Mario Hezonja just aren't even going to be here today.
Yeah, Cornette did not see the court. Crazy.
Like, he should be playing 20-something minutes, too. Lance Thomas shouldn't be anywhere near the floor today. And he's going to play, he might play the most minutes outside of Kevin Knox.
Right. I mean, it's tough. So that's why so we can move on. And then I'll get your take and we'll move on too. So we can kind of.
Well, I think it's important here on a 3-gamer, especially just so that we can talk about the same sort of stuff, or at least come from a certain perspective. So you said you have Vonleh at 22. Is Mitchell Robinson getting everything else at center for you?
Yeah, but like what I'm saying is I'm tempted. I'm tempted to put him at 24 and 24 because Vonleh. So let's take. I hate to keep backpedaling, but you said it's important. This is like if you get this team right, you could be in a really good spot tonight, right?
Yes.
So Vonleh played 6.5 minutes to start the first quarter. Let's just say that he was going to play 6.5 minutes to start the second quarter. Okay, so that's 4 additional minutes lost due to foul trouble. And then the third foul at the end of the second half, that was 3 minutes. So that's 7 minutes there, but I don't think he would have played all the way through because that would have been almost a 10-minute rotation. So let's make that 6 total. That's why I keep ending up around 24 and 24, because if he wasn't in foul trouble and they split those minutes down the middle, which they did, right?
Yeah.
They split them down the middle. I'm sorry, it was only those two that played at center. Then 24-24 seems more realistic unless Fizdale says, hey, Robinson was great, Vonleh was terrible, let's give him more minutes. But based on last game's rotation, it looked like it was set up to see an even 50-50 split at center. Yeah.
Okay. Ooh, you got me backpedaling now.
Well, I'm not telling you. All I'm saying is if you look at what we saw from last game, Vonleh was clearly in line to play more than 18 minutes, and Mitchell Robinson was in line to play less than 30.
I just moved Vonleh to 22 minutes, at which point he becomes the second, like a monster play. Not a monster play. That's a bad way to say it. I like him like twice as much as the field on FanDuel. He's only 4K.
Yeah. Well, let me ask you though. If you think my thought process is off, I'm happy to.
I don't at all. The problem for me lies in the fact that I think that I am too logical for my own good in this spot. And I think like, oh, well, they'll just give a couple extra minutes to Mitchell Robinson.
Right. Like we want to believe that because it should be happening.
Meanwhile, Henry Ellinson's going to get the first into the second quarter run at center. And all of this shit is going to be for naught.
100%. But that's pretty much where we're at on this and where I'm at on this. I definitely
I want to have both of those guys, and I'll probably set their minutes so that I have both of them in a normal amount compared to their ownership. Like Noah Vonleh on DraftKings. Have you seen the ownership?
I'm pulling it up right now.
Well, spoiler alert here. Mitchell Robinson 22% on DraftKings. Noah Vonleh 3%.
Yeah, right, exactly. I don't want him in the same lineup though, honestly.
Oh no. I mean, today could be the day that Noah Vonleh plays 24 minutes at the 4 alongside of him, and I wouldn't be sure. Right. But no, I wouldn't. As we know it now, they're going to split the center minutes.
Right.
Member Barry's
also possible.
Member Barry's thinks that you have gauges in your ears. Just realized they were AirPods today, so it's not a minority thing. Everybody's getting it.
Who said that?
Member Barry's?
No, bro. They're AirPods.
Been down this road before, Member Barry's.
I know, and I think a lot of people were saying that they were the fake AirPods because they're not the regular white color. That's not true though.
Here, the wife has been talking them up. She likes hers.
Fake ones don't come with that. I should have bought the fake ones though, right? These things are like wildly overpriced. My girl got them for me for my birthday though, and they're pretty awesome. They really are. I mean, it sucks though. It's pretty hard to find an adapter if you have a PC, Josh.
Yeah, evidently.
I mean, I'm using my MacBook now, but man, you were trying to help me with that yesterday, and
yeah, we looked at it and I was like, I should make sure that these work with AirPods. And it was just very specifically like, yo, these don't.
Good catch. Good catch. Because I was like right about to do the one-click buy.
Oh yeah, been down
That's
that road before.
that's a danger
Bought
right
a
there.
cheese grater 2 days ago on a whim.
So did I. So did I. I am not kidding. I bought well, it was a grater, but I needed the zester on it.
Okay.
So I bought a grater
Yeah.
2 days ago.
Yep.
And it works phenomenally. You know how? I know because it came the very next day.
There you go. Mine comes today.
Oh, nice. And I went to zest a lime,
Nice.
and I didn't know that upon zesting, you're immediately supposed to wash the zester.
Makes it a real big pain in the ass when it starts to harden on there.
Yeah, well, I didn't. So about after I eat my meal, I come back. I say, "All right, let me hit this zester," and no luck whatsoever. Like it was on there. So Justine came home from work. I was like, "Hey, there's a zester in the sink. Take a look at that," and she figured it out. But that was some trouble, man.
I
But
was
yes,
just
one quick
I
buy
bought
is
mine specifically because the one that I needed was dirty, and I was like, I don't ever want to run into a situation where the cheese grater's dirty, so I just bought a second one.
So you bought a second one. That's amazing. That's great.
Yeah,
Like, my car is low on gas.
buy
Let
a
me grab
backup
another
car.
one. Don't wanna be in that situation again.
So I'll have the ability to grate things in 2 separate ways starting today.
That is one of the most outrageously unnecessary purchases ever, and I love every second of it.
Yeah. So good. I love it. I love Amazon. All right, let's finish off the Knicks.
Yeah.
32 minutes in. So I think we broke
I'm
down the
telling you,
center
we're gonna get
rotation
this
as much as we
we're gonna
can.
get through this show a lot quicker than you expect.
Oh
We
yeah,
will,
for sure.
because
Look,
these games are
there's
not
a lot less ambiguity on these final 4 teams.
exactly, yep.
I gave Moutier 24 minutes. That dude can play basically anything in between 18 and 28, and that would make total sense to me. I think he was fine. There's 7 guys on the Knicks that I think are feasible plays on either site. Dennis Smith Jr., Mitchell Robinson, Kevin
Did you
Knox.
say 7?
Yeah. Smith, Robinson, Knox, Moutier, Dotson, Trier, Vonleh.
Smith, Robinson, Knox, Moutier, Trier, Dotson, Vonleh. Oof.
And like, if you told me that you wanted to use Lance Thomas as a punt on FanDuel, I couldn't tell you no. I wouldn't play him, but I couldn't tell you no.
God, Lance Thomas is flat out bad.
He's worse than Kevin Knox. And Kevin Knox is 0.68 fantasy points per minute over the last 30 days.
Look, I think when it comes down to the Knicks, you're not wrong about this. And Smith's price tag has come down, presumably because ownership's influences price point on DraftKings, and he has not been popular since Moutier came back or since his price tag came up. Dennis Smith Jr. 30 minutes on this slate. Yeah, I think you could probably do worse than that.
Yeah.
Robinson would still be my favorite, although I'm obviously not as high on him as I was when we were getting him at lower ownership and at a mid 4K price point. Alonzo Trier, I wish I could say like, oh yeah, phenomenal play, but that rotation was, or sorry, his play last game was really strange, because he was on pace to play about 18 minutes in the game, right? And then just like I said, comes in a minute and a half into the third and plays for 19 straight minutes, and then Knox comes back and closes it. So no idea, man. They were running a rotation of Smith, Dotson. Ready? This is the rotation that gave them their biggest lead of the night. You're gonna like this. Smith, Dotson, Lance Thomas, Alonzo Trier. So wait, was Smith, Dotson, Lance Thomas, Alonzo Trier, and Mitchell Robinson. That's the lineup that gave them their biggest lead.
Yeah, clearly.
What I'm saying though is that might not work as well going forward on other nights.
I think they're just, if anything starts to work, I think that Fizdale just lets it go until it stops working and then mixes it up again.
Which is why Mitchell Robinson still has downside from a minute standpoint. Noah Vonleh has to be one of your favorite plays on the Knicks, because if he does come out of the gate hot, he might play 28, 30 minutes, and Robinson plays, 13 or 18. I don't think that happens, but we saw it with DeAndre Jordan where they'd split him down the middle, and then Jordan plays 31 and Robinson plays, 17. So I'm just throwing that out there. It is a possibility.
So who is on DraftKings? Who is your favorite play from the Knicks?
Right now, because of the 3-game slate and projected ownership, it's got to be Vonleh.
Okay.
It's got to be Vonleh. I think as much as I'm not a big fan of Dotson, he's getting shots up. He's getting big minutes. I think right now Dotson's probably the least likely to lose minutes. I think Dotson gets good run.
Besides Knox.
Yeah, sure. Besides Knox is reasonable. Yeah, I agree with that.
Knox has just been playing like 36 minutes on average for 2 months. So
right. I mean, Lance Thomas or Dennis Smith and Emmanuel Mudiay did not play on the court alongside each other last game. The game before that, Mudiay played 26. Smith played 22. They're not playing alongside each other, as they shouldn't. There's no need to do that.
Whoa,
so
I thought they were. So I have this all fucked up.
Unless I'm reading this wrong, but I don't think they were. I'll go back to the New York Minnesota game and tell you.
Now you're right.
Yeah, so they're not playing alongside each other.
Well, I need to edit that.
They're directly replacing each other, as a matter of fact.
That makes me feel more comfortable about Trier or Dotson somehow.
Yeah. Oh, absolutely. Yeah, the only minutes Mudiay's stealing are Dennis Smith's. So just for you guys watching this, don't play Smith and Mudiay together. It's not worth it because neither of them are cheap enough to have that pay off. If Mudiay was 3,800 and Smith was like 6K, I could maybe understand it, but not at those price points. So that's where I'm at on the Knicks.
Where the hell do those minutes go then? Oh God.
They're going to like John Jenkins.
Yeah.
And
well, that makes Dennis Smith and Mudiay really difficult to play.
Oh yeah. Very much so.
I could have swore that I read stuff about them playing together, but maybe I just put that into my brain and never actually checked to see that it happened.
I mean, as far as I know.
No, you're right. You're right.
Yeah.
All right. So in conclusion, didn't want to do that. I'm gonna say that on FanDuel, I like using Trier as a punt more than anything on the Knicks. Vonleh would be my favorite play of the guys that I think are actual plays. And then you can have any real amount of Knox or Mitchell Robinson, and I'm fine with that. On DK, Trier at 3,600 is oddly appealing to me. I wish that it wasn't. Vonleh again at 4K is nice, especially if he's 3% owned. Take your pick of Mitchell Robinson, Knox, and Dotson.
All right.
Thank God we could talk about the Magic, and this one's so much easier. There's no rotational quirks.
Yeah, it's a lot easier to discuss for sure.
10-2 on FanDuel, 9,600 on DraftKings, $43 on Yahoo. Terrible Knicks defense. How much? Obviously, you like Vooch. That's not really up for debate, I don't think. Do you like him more than Nikola Jokic today?
It's funny. On Sunday, I actually went Vooch over Jokic in a lot of spots just because Jokic's ownership, and I'm fine with Jokic's ownership was like what 80+%. It
was a little high.
And yeah, and Vooch was basically ignored on a 3-gamer. They both finished with exactly 53 fantasy points. So that worked out well. It actually did because Jokic was like $700 more expensive than Vooch, or $600 more expensive. I like Jokic, or I like Vooch a little bit less than Jokic, but I still really like him. And once again, depending on what the ownership looks like, I'm perfectly willing to go there. And right now, Jokic is projected to have almost double the ownership of Vooch on DraftKings.
Yeah.
So I don't think it's crazy whatsoever to look at that and say, yeah, Vooch facing the Knicks, like Mitchell Robinson is a very, 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 very good shot blocker, and defensively he's been really solid. He's not biting on pump fakes. In the post, you're not seeing him leave his feet. I mean, he's grounded. He looks good, but I still think Vooch should have no trouble in that spot, and he's going to get most of, or at least a lot of his minutes against Noah Vonleh. I do like Vooch quite a bit. It's just when it comes to going up against Jokic as a 1v1, I still lean Jokic here because number one, the pace of this game, massive pace up spot for Jokic, way more opportunities from a possession standpoint. 236.5 total compared to 216. That doesn't always sway my decision, but I do think it's important here. And when you look at Jokic, again, I'm sure people will bring up his games against the his games against OKC this year.
Yeah.
Well, number one, I really don't care about that. And number two, I vividly remember the last game they played, or the first game they played was a blowout. He only played 27 minutes. OKC made it close at the end, but it was never close throughout. And then in the second one, he had 24, 15, and 9 with 3 steals. So, yeah, not concerned about that at all. Or Steven Adams. Jokic will get it done, and the pace-up spot makes it even more enticing.
24, 15, and 9.
Crazy.
That is so good. I prefer Jokic to Vooch in a vacuum, but I will probably have more Vooch than the public because he's in a great spot. It's really hard to ignore
That's
him.
how I feel. Exactly. That's where I'm at as well.
Yeah.
And Vooch had 60 fantasy point upside. We know it.
Of course. I'm going to continue to like Aaron Gordon, which makes me unhappy. This strikes me as the type of game where Aaron Gordon can really have a monster game because the Knicks are so bad and not going to be a lot of quality on the opposite side of him. 7K on FanDuel, 6,400 on DK. I think he's probably my favorite play on the Magic relative to salary.
Okay. I don't have an issue with it. I'm fine with it. It's Gordon has not exactly produced a high. There hasn't been a lot of volatility with him, and normally someone would say that's good, right? Well, not really. Yeah. But at the same time, we know that it can. We know. Look, no volatility is good when you're averaging between 50 and 60 fantasy points a game, right? But when it's like 30 or 35, it's a little bit different. And I have no issues with him. It's just when you're playing Gordon, do we think he's getting you to 45 or 50? He can do it. Gordon can do that. It's been far less frequent recently, and I think you would agree. The rebounding and the peripherals have kind of been. They haven't been aligning with his scoring. So when he has the decent point totals, he's not racking up the peripherals that you need. But at 6,400, I have no issues with him at all. 7K on FanDuel. And I'll go right back to the well with a guy that was good to me on Sunday, Terrence Ross. Terrence Ross, when he gets hot, is very, very capable of having strong games. Like, I don't know if people are paying attention to this because it is the Magic and he's playing off the bench. Gosh, Ross is having an awesome season.
He really is.
He's having the best season of his career, as a matter of fact. He's never averaged more than 11 points per game in a season. He's averaging 15 points per game. And he's averaging almost 13 field goal attempts, which is he's never averaged double-digit field goal attempts in a season. Like, he's getting a lot of work, and it's pretty obvious. It's evident that Clifford has zero issues giving him good run off the bench, and he's been very impactful as a reserve.
Any worries about Ross being the sixth man in this spot, potentially losing some minutes if this game goes squirrely?
No, because the Magic, I think actually it was you that mentioned this the other day. The Magic defensively have been very good, but offensively they're not exactly a juggernaut.
No, they're not.
They're a good team in terms of being able to limit scoring, but they're not. I'm not too concerned about that. I'm really not. Plus 7.5 point spread. I'm not looking to project a blowout here. I am a firm believer that the 6 man takes the biggest hit in blowouts because they don't see the fourth quarter run that they would have got. But excuse me, since the start of January, Russ has a 25% usage rate, right? It's the second highest on the team behind Vooch, who's at 31%. And per minute production, 1.04, second best on the team behind Vooch, who's at 1.45. Russ has been their second best offensive player since the start of the year and arguably on the entire season. So I don't have an issue with him. I don't think he's a core play, but we only have 3 games. So I don't mind Ross at all. And I don't think Augustine.
He looks really good for 4,100 on DraftKings.
He does. I don't think he's a crazy play either. You give me 28, 27, 28 minutes from Augustine. It's obvious you're not expecting, world-beating type numbers here, but you don't need huge totals from Augustine in a game like this.
No,
and if he plays 30 minutes, you're getting around 25, 27 fantasy points. I'm okay with that against New York.
I have him in for 27 minutes right now, and he is the best play on DraftKings from the Magic relative to where the public is for me. I have him slightly ahead of Aaron Gordon.
I think that's a reasonable statement. In terms of point per dollar, I have him right around Ross and Gordon, but he's also really cheap, so that makes the big difference.
Anything else you like on the Magic right now?
No, that's pretty much it. Augustine, by the way, should have some ownership, but I mean that's to be expected. I don't think we would expect him to go completely unowned. No, I don't see myself getting to Isaac here. If you want to sprinkle him into tournaments and hope he gets 30 plus minutes, then I'm okay with that. But it's a weird spot where it's like I'll probably just go down to Ross or go up to Aaron Gordon if I'm going to play one of these wing players or, one of the forwards from the Magic.
Sure. Is that enough on that game?
Yeah, I think so.
Alrighty. Toronto Raptors hosting the Boston Celtics. I feel like these teams have played like 600 times this year.
Yeah, and every time it's been when you and I are on the strategy show.
Yeah. 114.25 implied total for the Raptors, 110.25 for the Celtics. I believe every team is at full strength for like guys that are definitely healthy. Kawhi should be like, I don't think that anybody is out for the Raptors other than, Van Vliet.
And then Baines for
Boston. But like that, no like, this guy's questionable type stuff. I think everybody's just in, which should be a fun game. Kawhi is 9,600 still on FanDuel, 9,200 on DraftKings. I love him on FanDuel. He's not something that I'm terribly interested in on DraftKings. What about you?
I just never have an easy time getting the Kawhi Leonard.
I love him in these spots, though, when he plays these teams where it's just like, okay, Kawhi's going to be out there for 36 minutes, and this is the type of game where he like tries to have the ball.
I know, I guess, but you said the same thing. I'm not ripping on you, but you said the same thing about San Antonio, and he's like 41 fantasy points. It just seems like the impact that he has on the court is so much bigger than the impact that he has on the box score sometimes. That's not to say that you can't get a great game from Kawhi, but I guess this is the problem I run into. You have Westbrook and George in a 237 total game. Yep. You have Jokic in the same game. You have Vooch against that Knicks front court. Getting to Kawhi Leonard is very difficult if it means sacrificing players who are, averaging more points on the season than a good game from Kawhi Leonard would be.
Here's the small forward crop on FanDuel today. Will Barton, Kawhi Leonard, Paul George, Jonathan Isaac, Kevin Knox, Gordon Hayward, Gary Harris, Lance Thomas.
Yeah, it's not particularly pretty. I totally understand that. And I think I said the same thing to you on the last strategy show. Kawhi Leonard on FanDuel, perfectly fine. But I think where you like really like him, I just see him as a potential necessity and that's it. Like, because he's obviously going to be super popular because there's really nowhere else to go there. like if Paul George was expected to be way lower owned than Leonard on FanDuel because of the salary, which is not the case, I would be loading up on George. Just to give you an idea of where I stand on Kawhi Leonard,
Okay.
I would be loading up on Paul George.
Yeah, if they're at the same ownership, I would like to have Kawhi Leonard over Paul George today on FanDuel.
Really?
And right now they're at 33 and 36. So by all accounts, the same. Only if I play Kawhi Leonard, I save $2,000.
$2,000. Yeah. I mean, look, I get it.
I can just do better stuff elsewhere.
I just see it more as a necessity than anything else, and not as something that I'm eager to do. Like I would much prefer to have other choices at small forward than Kawhi Leonard.
Yeah, I just don't know where they are today. And it being a 3-game slate where, like raw points are a little bit more valuable than they normally are. We're not shooting for the same sort of ceiling. These are the days that I like Kawhi. If this is an 11-gamer like yesterday, I probably don't share the same sort of outlook because I want that bigger ceiling of Paul George. But for today, just to save that 2K, for now, I mean that's where I would be looking.
Like that's fine. I get it.
And this is FanDuel specifically. On DK, I don't have a ton of interest in Kawhi. I'm a lot under the field.
Yeah. Maybe he can go out and drop 60. It's not like he can't. And he's well rested.
I mean, if he drops 55, I'm really happy. If he drops 50, I think that I still made the right decision.
Well, it depends on what George does.
Very true.
If George goes for 70 again.
Well, yeah.
We could having a different conversation. But small forward is heinous on FanDuel. There's no question. It's really man, it's really bad.
Yeah, I mean, it's not like you're going to look at that list and be like, well, shit, I don't want to play Kawhi Leonard because I can get Gary Harris in there.
Right. No, and that's why Lance Thomas is unfortunately in play.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, you're basically picking between Kawhi and Paul George. Now, I am irrationally high on Will Barton today, so it might not matter at all. But if I had to pick between Kawhi and Paul George, my first step is putting in Kawhi and seeing where I get with that 2,000. If I have the money left over, then I'll happily go to George. But
okay,
2,000's a lot.
Yeah, it is. It is. Paul George also just really fucking good.
Fantastic.
So I get it with Kawhi. As far as the rest of this team goes, Kawhi Leonard sans or Kyle Lowry sans Kawhi Leonard is always going to be a guy that we have quite a bit of, especially when he's normally priced down. But with Leonard back, against Boston, you're gonna be hard pressed to really fall in love with Lowry in this spot, even if it's a 3-game slate. He's from an ownership standpoint, relative to the rest of the slate, he's not that crazy at all. But I don't think he should be. He's affordable. He's going to get minutes. I think anybody you can make an argument for any. You can always make an argument for a player like Lowry on a 3-game slate.
Yeah.
But I'm not going to sit here and talk about how much I like him just because I don't want to be wrong if he has a big game. The truth is he's just not a great play when Kawhi Leonard is in the lineup. And it takes away from a lot of these guys. It takes away from Siakam, whose price has come up quite a bit. It takes away from most of these players, if not all of them, especially given that last game Kawhi Leonard was out. And then Marc Gasol started last game.
Yeah, do you think that continues?
I mean, I don't know. It would make sense to see Nurse go back to Ibaka against a smaller front court, right?
Yeah.
With Horford in the starting lineup, but did he really start him just to defend Vooch? Because it's not like Ibaka's a bad defender. You know what I mean?
No. Yeah, it's not like that kind of move. I have no idea why he started him.
But it makes this team even more difficult because even if he doesn't start, I'm giving Ibaka and Gasol both 24 minutes apiece.
What did I do?
I don't know how you can't, honestly.
I gave Marc Gasol 24. I gave Serge 28 total. They have played
28?
alongside of each other.
Yeah, I don't see that happening at all in this against Boston.
Um,
I mean, what? How do
trying
you?
to think about it here.
I just don't see that I don't see them being able to do that.
If Baines were healthy, I could see it.
But how often is Baines going to play alongside Horford?
I think they do it more often than we think, but I don't know. It's been a while since I've had to look into Baines.
I don't think it would make much sense in this spot.
Look at it. I don't disagree with what you're saying.
I think they played like 2 or 3 minutes alongside each other last game.
Their totals last game 24 and 24. The game before that 31 and 17. The game before that was 31 and 19. So they got a couple there. Otherwise, you're right. They're splitting. So,
last game it shows them playing next to each other for a couple minutes, but maybe that's wrong because
who played at the 5 when they didn't?
Well, that's what I'm trying to find out right now.
Does Jody Meeks play today? I assume no.
Oh, okay. This is why it was towards the end they brought in the cleanup crew. So it was just like McCaw and Meeks and Chris Boucher and Anunoby and those. So they did play a couple minutes alongside each other, meaning they likely Gasol probably would have played. Oh, that's interesting. Gasol probably would have played if he closed that out. He would have played around 27. I don't think Ibaka would have closed that game out. He wouldn't have. Yeah, so it looks like Gasol would have played around 27 minutes. That's interesting. Because if you give Gasol 27 minutes at 5,700, things might get more appealing.
Yeah, man, it's really hard to project someone for more minutes than they've played with a team. Even if that makes perfect sense. Like, I don't disagree with anything that you're saying.
No, I agree with you.
It's 3 of the games that he's played have been in the teens.
Well,
that is a leap of faith.
I see it a little bit differently than you do there because this is his first start.
Sure.
I mean, the game got really out of control at the exact moment that he got lifted at the exact moment the game got out of control.
Yeah.
So it's worth keeping in mind. Those extra 3 minutes right there put him to 27, and then you have a very different player.
Oh, if you got Marc Gasol at 27 minutes today, he's going to be very important, particularly on FanDuel at 5,700.
Right. So we'll let the viewers make the decision on that, but just know that he got pulled with 3 minutes left. Him, Lowry, Green, Siakam, all of them came out with 3 minutes remaining.
What do you think of Siakam today? 7,500 on FanDuel, 7K on DraftKings. I like him a lot.
Do you?
Yeah.
For me, it's very, very much just a take it or leave it situation.
How many minutes do you have him playing?
Hold on.
I can do that.
Oh, and by the way, thinking back on this now, I don't think Ibaka and Gasol would play alongside each other with with Kawhi Leonard back. That seems. I mean, God, they had Gasol, Siakam, and Ibaka out there at the same time.
Yeah,
that's outrageous.
Yeah,
that is outrageous, man.
That's big.
It's huge and totally unnecessary.
How'd they do?
Oh, that's when the blowout started. That's literally what initiated the blowout.
Gotcha.
It was brutal. I have Siakam at 33 minutes.
Okay. I have him at 34. What do you have him projected for?
Hold on. 34 fantasy points.
Okay, yeah, I've got him at 35.5.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, by no means do I hate the guy.
I think he's the best power forward option on the slate today on FanDuel.
Let's see.
All right, who do you like more, Pascal Siakam or Jason Tatum?
$8,400?
Yeah.
What?
Yeah.
What?
Yeah. I mean, like unless you like punting with Vonleh, it's not Millsap, it's not Ibaka, it's not Jeremy Grant or Kem Birch or Daniel Tice.
Jeepers creepers.
It's him, Gordon, or Tatum. Those are your options.
How did I miss that? $8,400 Paul Millsap. Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
Do you like Siakam more on FanDuel now?
Yeah, like I said, honestly, I mean, yeah, because the position is so bad, but kind of the same thing with Lowry. Like take it or leave it. These guys end up being necessities. It's just the problem is when I'm talking when I was saying like, oh, do I like this guy? I don't really like it, but I don't have many alternatives. So yeah, I guess that's where I'm at. You do have Aaron Gordon, him and Siakam. Like you could definitely make the argument for Siakam there, and then Millsap's just egregiously expensive.
There's just no way to pick Millsap over Pascal Siakam on FanDuel.
Yeah.
Otherwise, you're going to Vonleh or something nowhere near this tier.
DraftKings is just immensely different, and there's plenty of options at power forward.
Yeah, like he's at 21% ownership on DK. Like I think that looks really reasonable, but I would have so much more of him on FanDuel just because I don't really know where else I would want to go. And after that, I don't really care about the rest of this team.
Yeah, me neither. That's it for me.
Yeah.
Although I will say again, if Gasol starts, it's not unreasonable to think that, if there is even a minute or two overlap with Ibaka, or even if there isn't, I could see Gasol getting over 24 minutes. Just keep that in mind.
Yeah.
If you're looking to take some risks, because Marc Gasol presumably will not be a very popular play.
You would think now.
8% on DraftKings, which on a 3-gamer is really low ownership.
Yeah, that would shock me.
Right. And he's also it's not like Gasol is not at least a decent enough per minute guy, right? Like you're still getting
for sure.
You're still getting 1.15 fantasy points per minute from him on the season. So if he did get 17 minutes and performed a little bit better than expectations, there's definite possibility on this slate. Plus, I don't think this will be the highest scoring slate.
It doesn't look like it will be.
No. So you don't need a career game from the guy, and he's really, really cheap. So,
All right. Boston side. Unfortunately, there's a lot to like here. I don't like rostering Boston. I always feel like these guys just all score 34 fantasy points.
They're not a fun team to roster whatsoever.
9,700 for Kyrie on FanDuel, 8,800 on DK, 43 on Yahoo. I like Kyrie quite a bit. Way more on FanDuel than DK, but I'm right with the public. Yahoo pretty clearly at $43, the least advantageous spot, but I'm in for Kyrie.
Yeah, I like Kyrie quite a bit. Have zero issues with Kyrie Irving in this spot. $8,800 on DraftKings is really friendly. 97 on FanDuel is fine. You're getting a guy who, when he has really bad shooting performances, things can certainly go awry. But that game against Milwaukee, he was like 1 for 13 at one point. Still crossed the 40 fantasy point threshold, which is, that's not what we wanted whatsoever. But and I'm not including the Clippers game. He got hurt. He was crushing in that game before the injury. Like his floor, I think, is higher than a lot of people are willing to admit, Josh.
Yeah, I mean, he's going to be more involved than anybody else. It's really hard for
Mhm.
if Kyrie bagels a day, it's probably because they got smacked and he played one, less minutes, and two, did not play well.
Or because they did the smacking. Because
Yeah,
Brad
sure, because he
Stevens
played like 26 minutes and everybody else got theirs.
right. I say this a lot. Brad Stevens, this is one team that blowouts I do try and actually factor in a little bit because Brad Stevens is very, very willing
Yeah.
to say, all right, he- he'll he'll initiate the blowout rotations in the third quarter, meaning Irving, he sees it going a certain way. Irving's third quarter rotation will be shorter than normal. So not only do you lose your fourth rotation, but you lose your part of your third as well. But in this game, I see Irving playing. He played 41 minutes
Yeah.
in each of his last two games in regulation, man. 41 minutes. So if Irving's going to play 38 to 41 minutes, I'm bringing that range in there because 41 minutes is still a lot to project somebody for. And this
Yeah.
game stays close, which there's no reason to believe it won't. I don't know how you don't like that. I mean,
Yeah, I've got him in for
38 minutes?
35 and he still looks fantastic and there's clearly room to grow there.
Right, I have him at 36 minutes.
Yeah.
But
No,
I'm
I have
saying
no issue there.
right, I'm saying you think about could he play more than that? Absolutely. He's literally played 41 minutes in regulation. Not to mention, if you look at his previous game, 36, 37, 34, 40 against Golden State, a 4-point game, 36 against the Knicks, 14-point win, 37 against OKC, 36 against the Lakers, 41 against Milwaukee, 41 against Chicago. There's legitimate 40-plus minute potential here.
Yeah, which is craziness. If he plays 40 minutes, I mean, you're
Oh,
going to be
yeah.
mad you don't have him.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah.
He's my favorite thing in Boston for sure, but I like so much of this team today. Although a lot of it is because of salary on different sites. So Al Horford is $8,000 on FanDuel, $6,300 on DK. Love Horford on DraftKings. Don't need him
Yeah,
whatsoever on FanDuel.
right. No, the DraftKings price point is more than friendly.
Yeah.
More than friendly. I'm perfectly fine with that.
I like
By
Marcus
the way,
Smart's price tag on DK. I can tolerate Gordon Hayward's price tag on DraftKings.
just throwing this out there, Irving's 1.38 DraftKings points per minute average on the season.
Mm-hmm.
You prorate that across 40 minutes. It's 55 fantasy points.
Ooh.
So, and we're not just reaching. Like he has been doing that. You're not going to project him for 40 minutes,
No.
but we know that he can.
Yeah.
So if at that per minute rate, man, he could have a bad game and still definitely not kill you. Like he could have a really bad shooting game and still have 50 plus fantasy points on assists and steals alone.
Yeah.
You know, and some scoring, but you get the point.
What do you like most in this game outside of Kyrie?
Horford on DraftKings,
Yep.
as you pointed out, is a very strong play. Aside from that, and you're probably so the interesting thing is who do we expect to see the most Kawhi Leonard as a defensive assignment?
I don't know. I don't know what they've been doing, actually. I'm trying to think back to like watching the games, but I have no memory of it.
Yeah.
Let me check NBA.com.
I know like Marcus Smart, I think at 4,100 is perfectly reasonable. I actually
agree.
have him has one of the better values. You know, and I think here's an easier way to look at it. Like if Alonzo Trier is going to be really popular, pivoting to Marcus Smart is very reasonable, but I'm assuming Smart will have some ownership as well.
21% on DraftKings.
21%, yeah. Trier right now at what's he at? 20. So basically the same. I'll go Smart over Trier. I just think it's a safer play, and it's not like Trier has a much higher ceiling at all.
Sure.
So yeah. Basically those type of plays. And then you're just getting into the Haywards and the Tatums and the Morrises, those type of guys. When it comes to them, I have no legitimate interest in them. It's just more so if they fit, and they're a decent price, and I can get away with it, I'm okay with it. But it's not like I feel great about any of them, and I'm really not sure anybody would or could feel great about them.
I'm pulling up the matchups box score for
shot attempts.
what? What'd you say?
Oh.
Sorry, you broke up a little bit there.
Are you pulling up oh, the matchups box score, okay.
Yeah, I want to see who was guarding Kawhi for Boston in the most recent game, and then maybe the others. But all right, in the game from January 16th, Celtics won by 9. Marcus Smart played the most on Kawhi, 28 possessions, 37%. But it was split 3 ways between Marcus Smart, Marcus Morris, and Jaylen Brown.
Right.
36%, 22%, and 20%. So, I mean, they're getting a lot to everybody. Jason Tatum had him a little bit. But it looks like, Marcus Smart is the guy that got him the most. Let's see where he goes.
That's all I need to know.
Yeah. We checked the 11-16 game, too.
It simply solidifies Smart's minutes. He gets 33 minutes, 30 to 33 minutes here, and I feel pretty okay about that.
I agree. Let's check. November 16th feels like forever ago.
Everyone was healthy for that game. Every relevant player was healthy, by the way.
Yeah. All right. In the second game they played, Kawhi had 28 possessions of Jaylen Brown, 30 possessions of Marcus Morris, only 9 of Marcus Smart. So they went to more Smart in the second game, even though they won this, or they went to more Smart in the third game.
Was everyone healthy in that game?
Morris, Brown, Smart, Tatum, Hayward, Horford, Rozier, Irving. Did I miss anybody?
I don't know.
No, I think everybody's healthy there.
Okay.
Marcus Morris, Jaylen Brown, Marcus Smart, Tatum, Hayward, Horford, Rozier. Yeah, we're not missing anybody there.
Everyone was healthy, yeah.
But I mean, it's going to be some sort of 3-headed monster. They're right. It's the reason the Celtics are built the way they are, to throw.
Smart will get his 30 minutes.
Yeah, I have no reason to suspect that he doesn't play a ton.
No. He'll get his 30 minutes.
Yeah. So I'm in on DraftKings, Irving, Horford, Tatum, Smart, Hayward, I guess.
Once I get past Irving, Smart, and Horford, it's just basically mixing in whatever. I'm not really. I have no particular interest in any of them. If they land in lineups, they do. If they don't, I'm not trying to fit them in. That's where I'm at on those guys.
Okay. Yeah, I'll probably have some form of 6 of these guys spread across everything, but Irving and Horford on DraftKings are the clear priorities, and Irving and Tatum on FanDuel are the clear priorities.
I think I might like Smart a little bit more than you do. I think in terms just of like viability, not
I love him.
Fantasy points, of course. In terms of like just sheer viability, I think Smart's up there with all of those guys.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not too far behind Horford with Smart. I'm like a notch above the public. So yeah, I'm with you on Smart.
Okay.
All right, let's close this out. That's all I got for this game. Denver Nuggets hosting the Oklahoma City Thunder. 120.25 implied total for the Nuggets. 116.75 for the Thunder. Monster pace up spot for Denver. Whew.
Yep.
Extra 5.5 possessions by my count compared to what they average.
Huge differential.
Yeah, that's a lot.
The differential from Memphis yesterday was crazy, like 7.5 or something.
Yeah. Nikola Jokic on DK.
Lakers are trash, man.
Yes, they are. Yes,
I think people thought I was trolling last night on Twitter. I really wasn't. Like, it's amazing to me that LeBron, another big box score, another big game in the box score, but another loss to a sub 500 team. They've now lost to the Atlanta Hawks, and they've now lost to the Hawks, the Grizzlies, 42 points to the Pacers, 24 to the Sixers. Who's the other bad team they recently? Oh, the Pelicans without Davis. I don't think there's any chance they make the playoffs, man. I think it's crazy to say this. Sorry, I'm just quick. I think LeBron has lost the locker room. You know how they say coaches have lost it? Well, I think LeBron has lost the team. Did you see his statements after yesterday's game?
Oh, yeah. Really weird quotes, too.
Yeah. I think some of it was taken out of context because the question was basically asked as more of a generality, but still, every time he gets an opportunity, he's sure to say this or that, or not ready, or inexperienced, or it's crazy, man. They're free falling.
Yes, they are. Tom Petty style. Jokic is my favorite play on DraftKings. That should not be too much of a surprise. He's 10K. Cannot beat it. 11K on FanDuel. I will probably have more than the field. Let's talk Jamal Murray. I don't think you have any crazy Jokic takes, right? He's just the best center in basketball.
We won't get into that, but I do think it's egregious that he's 10K flat on DraftKings.
I agree. 6,800 on FanDuel for Murray, 6K on DK. Is he the best play of the day based on this matchup and his salary?
Murray?
Yeah.
Yeah. Unfortunately. I say that with all seriousness. Like, unfortunately. I'm not big on rostering Jamal Murray with high frequency, but
price keeps falling.
Oh, look, I know. I say unfortunately because there's no way I'm not playing Jamal Murray.
Yeah,
you know that's what it is, and he's gonna be popular. Obviously, there's no way to get away from it. But as you mentioned, just a massive pace up spot, which is the first reason you say, "Hey, I like this guy." And then another thing is when you look at the Thunder recently, not only are they playing at an elevated pace, but they've seen their defense take a bit of a step back. So second fastest pace in the league over the last 30 days, but their defense has slipped down to 17th. So if earlier in the season, that was a whole lot different. Like from January 1st through January 21st or 25th. So we'll go before that 30 days to start the year. The Thunder defense was, where were they? I guess they were still pretty rough. What was it? Am I thinking earlier in the year, 2018, right? Because the Thunder defense was playing really well for a period. I think I'm just forgetting the dates wrong. But
I thought they were been fine, so I'm not sure.
I thought so too. From the start of the season to the end of 2018, they had the best defensive rating in the league. That's what it was. Okay. And then from the start of 2019 to now, they are, let's see. They are 21st, Josh. So big difference. And they're also playing at a faster pace.
I'm pulling it up now.
And by the way, I'm just using defensive rating, but
sure.
Points allowed per 100 possessions.
17th on cleaning the glass.
And look at them from October 16th, which is when the season started, to December 31st. NBA.com has them as the best defensive team per defensive rating in the league.
31. Let's see what we got here. Yeah, number one, 101.6.
Mm-hmm. That's a crazy defensive rating, by the way.
Yeah. What do you think? What do you think's changing that? Paul George playing less defense now?
It's so funny you say. I was gonna say, it feels like it coincides with Paul George being way, way, way more dominant offensively.
Makes sense to me. You can't do both things at the peak of your athletic ability or you'll break.
Yeah.
Not in the regular season, at least. You can't play, you can't be
LeBron.
You can't be a first team all defense guy and a first team all NBA guy for offense at the same time on a Tuesday night in Denver. Well, maybe in Denver, but maybe not a Tuesday night in Phoenix.
We've seen that be the case with LeBron for many years.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I think it might have something to do with that. And the only reason, I mean, you brought it up, and the only reason I would say that is because look at the rest of the team. Like, nothing has changed. Andre Roberson's been out the whole year. And God, when he comes back, if he even returns, and I don't think he's going to play at all. He is a huge piece defensively. But until he returns, if he even does, this team defensively is going to be, if George keeps playing like this, I think middle of the road. Um, Unfortunately, again, gotta be heavy on Jamal Murray at that price. I think you would agree.
I completely agree. I have a guy that I need you to talk to me about.
Okay, let's talk about him.
All right. I think we both agree that 6,200 for Paul Millsap looks great on DraftKings. No problem going there.
Mhm.
At 8,400 on FanDuel, I think you'll find a better option somewhere else.
I mean, like, I'm honestly tempted to get some $8,400 Millsap just because it's so outrageous.
Yeah.
The position's so bad that what do what do I n maybe not. He's still projected at 16% on FanDuel. That's crazy, man. Wow.
Yeah. I'll have a little bit less than that.
He's been very good, but
He has.
6,200 on DraftKings is a really good,
Yeah.
really, really solid play. One of my best plays on the day. FanDuel's a lot different. So who did you want to talk about? Is it Millsap?
Oh God, no! I wish this would be a lot easier.
Oh, Will Barton.
What are your thoughts on Will Barton? Because he has been a steaming pile of shit for a pretty extended period of time now.
Yeah, he has.
I have been playing 28 minutes. So let's start there. Any problem with that number, high or low? Please tell me not low, because that's not going to make this discussion go any further for me. It's going to make it worse.
I have Will Barton at exactly 28 minutes.
Okay. At which point, for 5,200 on FanDuel, I think that he is fantastic.
Yeah.
There is no value out there right now. Because it's a 3-game slate with nothing to speak of. We've gone through some of these positions, and they're full of garbage. All right, here's the easy question for you, because this is mostly FanDuel. On DK, he's fine. Would you rather have Will Barton or Jonathan Isaac tonight?
So Will Barton is projected to have the 6th highest ownership on FanDuel. Again, take this in context because it is such a small slate. Isaac at 22%, Barton at 27%. Probably Isaac.
Okay.
I'm not infatuated with either of them though.
Sure.
But Will Barton, man,
there's 4 guys after that: Knox, Hayward, Harris, Thomas. I assume that you would rather have Will Barton over those 4 guys.
Over Knox, Hayward,
Gary Harris, and Lance Thomas.
Yeah. I guess so. But so here's the thing. Like, I think these are the spots where ownership is important. Like, these are the spots where I feel like the ownership needs to be taken heavily into consideration. Because and the reason for this, let me lay it out because it's important. The reason for this is Will Barton at almost 30% could easily have another awful game. As you said, a steaming pile of shit. Which means those are great spots to pivot to a lesser owned guy where the risk really isn't as extreme. Like the risk of pivoting off of a chalk Barton. Yeah, Barton could come back out and be exhumed from the ground because this dude is a dead man with a heartbeat right now.
Yeah, he's been so bad.
But it's also very possible that he doesn't. So if you're telling me that, one or two of these guys is going to be significantly less popular than a guy who is only popular because of name value and because his prices come so far down and because of the pace and this and that, but he's been terrible. And they have a roster where, you have Barton, Beasley, Murray. I'm talking about the guards and the threes. Murray, Harris, Isaiah Thomas, Monty Morris, Torrey Craig, Hernan Gomez. I won't talk about the guys that got blowout run.
Yeah.
There's so many different bodies that you can run out there. I still have Barton for 24. Last game, he didn't play the final few minutes in a blowout. He would have gotten 28. So I still have him at 28 minutes. But this is, I think, one of the better spots where you say, hey, he's going to be chalk. even though he's been terrible and even though he's not very good, I'll pivot. If he wasn't going to be chalk, I would love him because he hasn't been good. But that's not the case.
Yeah, I don't know what to do with him because he's popping up and the price just keeps dropping. And I don't know where to go. Oh, I hate him. I hate him. I hate him. I hate him. But I can't stop him. Like, he pops up as the second best play on Denver for me on FanDuel, ahead of Jokic.
Wow.
Terrifying. No, I'm not, just in case people are curious when they hear me say that. I'm not saying that I think that Will Barton outscores Nikola Jokic.
Talking about value-wise.
Yes, relative to their salary. As of right now, like I just end up getting there. I hope value pops out so that someone like Will Barton is less valuable today, but at a below average salary point, I'm having trouble not going to him. And on DK, I'm just sort of like with the field at 4,900.
On a point per dollar basis, you have Barton. I have him as the 10th best point per dollar play on the slate.
Yeah, that's good.
It's very good, but
I don't necessarily know if I have that in my sheet.
It still doesn't mean I'm confident in it.
Actually, I'll check and see what I have on the website because I know that I have it displayed there. Actually, can I do it here? Can. FanDuel, were we talking?
Oh, sorry, I was on DraftKings. But that would be different probably on FanDuel. So let me pull it up. I'll tell you while you look.
Let me sort it. On FanDuel, I have him.
Well, I have him way higher on FanDuel.
Yeah, that's what I'm trying to say. It's terrifying.
Right. It is. It's just everyone else has him that I do. Yep. And you know what?
I have him 4th on FanDuel.
4th. So do I. Let me get your take on this, and then we'll move on from Barton.
Okay.
So when you look at this guy just on a permanent basis, right? Like last year, he was let's see. Last year, it was 0.93 fantasy points per minute. The year before that, 0.92 fantasy points per minute. The year before that, he was 0.96 fantasy points per minute. The year before that, he was 0.95 or 0.93 fantasy points per minute. You get my point. This year, Will Barton is a 0.866 fantasy point per minute guy. Now, does that seem like a dramatic difference? Not really, but he's but he's definitely playing worse this year.
0.76 over the last 30 days.
Right. So how much are our projections taking into consideration? How much are they using previous years? Because he hasn't played that much this season.
Yeah. I hate it, man. I don't know what to do with it. I hope he just gets scratched. I'd rather just get away from it entirely and not be the one.
Me too.
It's one of those situations where teams talk about wishing they had the second pick in the draft so they don't have to make the choice between two guys. That's how I feel now.
Yeah. Oh, absolutely.
I'd rather just have the decision made for me.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Whether he gets scratched or his cornea gets scratched and then he's scratched, just get him out of there. The fact remains, though, that Will Barton is a very solid play, regardless of whether or not I like it. And that's what it is.
And Will Barton being 5,200 and a guy that we like on a point per dollar basis is the reason I like Kawhi Leonard so much on FanDuel.
Yeah.
Because I would much rather play Kawhi Leonard and a full-on punt than Will Barton plus whatever else, because at least I can cheer for someone that's good.
Right. Yeah, I hear you.
Yeah, that's circling all the way back to the Kawhi talk. Yeah, it's what happens when the rest of the position is doo-doo.
Yeah, exactly. And then when you get guys so the last guy I wanted to talk about is Beasley.
Yep. I sound like I'm buying a fucking storage locker there. Yep.
Oh, yeah. You sound like Dave. Yep, yep, yep.
Oh God,
You know what I'm talking about.
I do. I wish I
Yeah.
didn't.
No, when that show first came out,
And that
it
blonde chick,
which one?
the hot girl that was with the guy that's not as attractive as her.
Oh, the goofy dude's wife. He
Yeah,
is such a
I mean
clown, is he?
she's hot for like her
Yeah,
status.
she's not anything outrageous,
No,
but, he was such a goof, but for some reason,
she's like a
he
storage unit 9.
sh Oh my god, that's awesome. Yeah, she was. For some reason, I did not mind the husband. Like, he was so corny, like, super corny, but I liked them. They shut their, business down.
Yeah, they're not together anymore.
They're not?
Not that I'm aware of.
If they had to pencil in one reason for divorce, I would say bad financial decisions on the part of the husband.
Yeah,
He would buy the dumbest shit. And I don't
that's a
blame him.
$100 tackle box. We can get $100 for that.
Yeah,
You'll get
yeah,
0.
he's go rooting through a box, like a pair of old beat up New Balance. He's like, "That's $2 right there.
Yeah,
A thing of used masking tape. We get
yeah.
the 50 cents for that." Like, dude, are you seriously like a box of matches half used? 35 cents there. Are you that's how they
It's a
tally this
penny a
shit up?
match.
Yeah, are you kidding me? That's how you tally it up? You'd see it all the time. It was ridiculous. Like, yes, you're counting money, but that stuff still has to sell.
Yeah.
Anyway, Malik Beasley in the first 3 quarters of last game, he played 7 minutes in the first. He played almost 7 minutes in the second. He played 9 minutes in the third. Uh, so you're looking at 24 minutes there, and then he came in and played a quick 2-minute stint towards the end of the fourth quarter just to kinda seal the game away. But I have Beasley playing another 28, 29 minutes again today.
I have him in for 26, and I still think he's a good play. So I like the idea of him going even higher than that.
Yeah. Only well,
Like
I
I'm
guess
ahead of the field on Beasley at 26 minutes. So if I go to 28, um,
right.
it's gonna get big.
If 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 Beasley continues to start, obviously that's necessary
Yeah,
because,
yeah,
Gary Harris you know what? I have to knock Beasley down to 25 or 26 because, if Gary Harris is still expected to be limited to the same minutes, then I will keep Beasley around 28 because he lost minutes in that blowout. If we hear that Harris is gonna get, more run, then I'm bringing Beasley down quite a bit.
yeah.
But I think it's important that Beasley's played really well, so I'm not necessarily sure how much Mike Malone wants to take away from him in favor of Gary Harris.
Well, here's the bigger question: do you think that Torrey Craig gets run today because of the matchup? It's a guy that's gotten DNP'd. But
Yeah.
this is if you're deploying Torrey Craig, this is the spot to deploy Torrey Craig. Torrey
Well,
Craig
if
could
you
play 20 minutes today, and that would not shock me whatsoever.
well, if you expect that to happen, then it's harder to love Will Barton, though, because Barton could be the one that loses some of those minutes.
I mean, what they really should do is not play Isaiah Thomas in this game.
Well, sure. Yeah.
um, yeah, look, it's tricky. Look, I didn't give Torrey Craig those minutes yet because I wanted to have the discussion, but I don't know if they're going to do it. Paying attention to Denver news is going to be really paramount here because he has not been a part of the rotation now that everybody is back. But this is why they have him. This is the whole point of Torrey Craig, to play against guys like Russell Westbrook and Paul George. So that can affect things pretty substantially. 18% Gary Harris ownership on FanDuel. Good fucking luck with that.
Yeah. I know,
Sorry, I
that's
just
great.
saw it now. It caught my eye.
They didn't play him at all against Doncic. You would think it would have been a spot, but I guess Doncic isn't exactly one of those yet. I'm just trying to see if there's any other spots where it's like, wow, he really should have been in there.
No,
Um,
just 8 minutes on the
against
24th and a full-on bagel on the 22nd. If he gets 16 minutes and they play Wancho less, like that makes some sense to me.
Yeah.
There are a lot of machinations of Denver that could shake out differently if Torrey Craig plays bigger minutes from a defensive standpoint.
I agree. But I'm not going to even speculate on that any further because I don't know.
Stay tuned to the deeper dive in Live Before Lock, where we might have more information tonight. 4 names, I think, that are super relevant on OKC, maybe 5. Well, 4 for me, 5 for the public. Do you prefer Russ or Paul George today? Either site is fine. They're priced normally on both.
Like both of them.
Yeah.
Quite a bit.
I prefer Russ by a hair. I like them both. I don't like either of them more than the public does. Like that, 39 and 33 on FanDuel for Russ and PG, 39 and 28 on DraftKings. I think that I'll just be around there, but I don't see any spot where I would just want to be like, I want 70% Russ today.
Right. The thing about Russ that's really interesting is he is shooting lights out right now. How long will that last? I don't know, but I'm perfectly fine riding that wave until it crashes.
Yeah.
Because when Russell Westbrook is shooting terribly, he's still dominant.
Yep.
When Russell Westbrook is shooting well, he is a 80-plus fantasy point guy. Like, he has 40-plus real points in 3 straight games. To put that into context, so 40 in 3 straight games. If you look at Russell Westbrook throughout the rest of the season, so he had 40, 40, or 41, 43, and 44. Look at the rest of his games this season. I think he had 1 or 2 40-point games. He had one 40-point game prior to these. So this is like next level peak Russell Westbrook that we're getting right now. And I have no problem riding with it.
He was my number 1 guy in my model on a per possession basis for the longest time. And then this horrid shooting for all of the season has pushed him down to 6th. And that's a tier of like 6 guys. So like there's a gap after Russ, but Russ is now the bottom of the list.
Yeah.
Care to guess who the 5 guys are that are ahead of him in my model? This is fantasy points per possession.
So the list is fantasy points per possession?
Yeah, and there's nobody weird like Boban isn't there or anything like that. It's legit, guys.
Who's at the bottom of the list?
No, who are the 6 guys in my top tier? Like there's a pretty big gap between Russ's rate and the guy that's in 7th. So I've got 6 guys that grade out as the best.
Assuming Kawhi's in there.
He is not.
Huh.
Kawhi is 14th.
I was thinking per personal touch, because he's crazy efficient in that sense.
No, per possession that they're on the floor.
Yeah, per possession. Giannis.
Yes, Giannis is 2nd.
AD.
Correct. Number 1.
Mm-hmm.
Tied with Giannis, by the way.
Harden
is 3rd. Took a bit of a climb this season.
You said Westbrook's 6th?
Westbrook is 6th. You're missing 5 and 6.
5 and 6. Jokic?
Yes, he is 5th.
Yeah, they play at a slow pace, so I figured that would make sense. And oh man, Eastern or Western Conference?
Eastern.
Embiid?
Mm-hmm. He's 4th.
I fucking nailed that.
1,000th of a point ahead of Nikola Jokic.
Oh, better player.
FanDuel scoring, so it's probably Jokic on DraftKings.
Yes, I'm sure. No, from a triple-double standpoint, you'd be right.
And the extra point for the block. Yeah.
And fewer turnovers.
Yeah. So yeah, I would imagine they would flip-flop in that spot. But yeah, so those are the 6. Karl Anthony Towns is 7th. He's the spot behind Westbrook.
Very nice.
It's a weird list. Towns, Cousins, Vooch, Drummond, LeBron at 11, Whiteside, Nurkic, Kawhi, Durant, Kyrie, and then you get the first weird name out of all of it, Jonas Valanciunas.
Dude, I've said it forever. If Joe Val played 30 minutes per game, he'd be a 9K player easily.
He is better on a per possession basis than Steph Curry.
Dude, he's a permanent monster. Yeah. There's no denying that. It's just simple mathematics. Hey, by the
Boban's
way,
22nd BTW.
I love it. Since we've gone so damn long on 3 games,
Yeah, I mean, we're here.
I just will quickly say Steven Adams on DraftKings.
Love it.
He has not been good lately. I understand that. But this could be one of those games where he is very much required to play a lot of minutes. I see Adams, getting his 36, 37 minutes here. I get it. His per minute production is just I think the guy's just getting tired. He's never played this many minutes per game in a season. But in this one, I like Adams just because of how cheap he is. I have him as one of the better values. And obviously, I love Westbrook and George. I prefer Westbrook, actually, but I like George a lot. And then Schroeder, if you're just looking for a dart throw, hoping that he's not terrible, he is really, 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 really cheap. I mean, he's not
fantastic on DraftKings at 4,300 if he gets the high end of his minutes.
Exactly.
Because he bounces between 23 and 29 like constantly.
Exactly. Like, you can't tell me that he can't have a better game than Damian Dotson or Gordon Hayward or Malik Beasley or Marcus Smart or Augustine. I'm not putting him ahead of all those guys, but case in point here is none of them are sure things. None of them are locks. Neither is Schroeder, but he's also very cheap.
Dennis Schroeder is my third favorite guy on DraftKings.
Okay, I'd put him behind Adams because I think Adams is egregiously cheap too, even though he hasn't been good.
How many minutes do you have Schroeder playing?
26.
Okay, yeah, I have a 27. Yeah, I want a ton of Schroeder tonight. That's my spot, hoping that today is the day that he gets the time. Well, yeah, I mean, my alternatives are sifting through the Knicks shit.
Right.
Trying to figure out which Celtic is the play, trying to figure out which one of the wings that I want from Denver. If Schroeder is going to be, similar ownership to those guys in the low 20s, I'll probably be heavier on Schroeder than most of the public.
Hey, by the way, it's a 3-game slate, and there are 3 M. Morrises on this slate. There are 3 of them.
Yes,
3
there are.
M. Morrises.
Yes, there are.
None of whom I'm interested in.
No, I don't have any interest in Monty Morris. I don't have any interest in Markieff. I have a little bit of interest in Marcus Morris.
He's all right.
Yeah, I'm not saying I'm going to have a ton of him, but like if you're playing 150, you probably have him in 15.
Yeah, you could do worse for sure.
Ooh, hour and 42. Can't beat it.
What was it, a 12-game slate?
Yeah. Yeah, a little bit different than Sirius on Saturday, whatever day that was.
Well, we're done now.
Yeah, look, we got to get it in, guys. NBA Strategy is the promo code, 50% off your first month with us. The deeper dive will be from 5:30 to 6:30 tonight. We've got a slightly late start. Live before lock, 6:30 to 7:30. Chris Baggs, Fast Eddie Fear. We'll have a golf show coming up with Ben and Tim at 1:30. Check out the deep dive early afternoon today with they qualified for the final. Ship my money. So check that out as well. Loff, you got anything else?
No, I just read a headline of this article or this newsletter that I get, and it was great. So I'll share it with you. The headline is, "The Lakers, who are trying to win, lost to another team that's trying to lose." It's so true. So
Very
true.
Very true.
They lost to 3 teams in the last 2 weeks that are trying to lose.
That's brutal. So brutal. Alrighty. Best of luck, everybody. We will talk to you again tomorrow.